Hello friends, welcome back to Fire Emblem Discussion. Today I'm going to be responding to your comments about map design from this week's video, so here we go. So first off, I'd just like to thank those who said, acted happy that I was back, so thank you. I appreciate that very much. And I should be back to stay indefinitely. I mean, I don't have any plans to stop putting videos up. I just had an interesting few weeks, is what I'll say. So let's move on to the map topic. Mr. Kasukis, sorry if I said that wrong, I'm not familiar with that name, says, several of the older games have well-designed maps, but suffer from being retroactively made worse by newer games setting a higher standard for map design. I can never look at a Defend chapter the same ever again after Conquest chapter 10. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with you there. I think some really great maps appear in like Thracia, Detelius games. I don't think how old they are has anything to do with map design. I think holding them to the same standard is still okay, which essentially comes down to something that someone else says later that I'll get to. But my whole purpose in doing this video was not to force upon you what I think makes good map design. I just wanted to present to you what I think makes good map design, like present it to you, and then get your opinions, because I may or may not have something in the works, like in my brain at least, for a series I want to do, and I wanted to get everyone's feedback and opinions on what they think makes a good map before I did that. So thank you very much, Mr. Kasukis, for your comment. Okay, so let's move on to Mr. Samuel Cron, who says, this is always an interesting discussion. At its root, I like maps firstly to tell a story, either enhancing what is going on in the plot at that given moment or strengthening some aspect of the world building or lore in the game. And the layout and objective of the map should coincide with the story of what's going on. So that's something that a lot of people bring up, is that they want story integration, and people praise like Genealogy of the Holy War and Thracia 776 for their storytelling and world building inside of gameplay, which is, honestly, I agree with. Those are things that those two games do very well. But my question is it really, like, which comes first? Do you need a better story, or do you need good gameplay? And which one needs to be conceived first, I guess, is my question. So, like, do you need to write your story first and try to write interesting scenarios and then build maps around it? Or do you build interesting maps and battle scenarios and then write a story around it? I personally have never made a game, so I don't know. I have a feeling you would want to write the story first and build interesting scenarios into the story and have it be kind of an interwoven thing where gameplay and story are conceived at the same time, I guess. But that's something I'm curious about, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts as well. Alright, thanks, Samuel. Moving on to Technofall42, who has a lot to say. This is what I want to read from you. Second paragraph. I think most maps can benefit from some sort of anti-turtling incentives, such as reinforcements, good items in chests/villages that are targeted by thieves or brigands, respectively. I also believe that a hard turn limit works as well as the indirect implementation I mentioned above, though having it in every map can be nerve-wracking for some players. In general, making players play fast is a good way to keep the map interesting, in my opinion. You made me think instantly of... what chapter is it? Is it Radiant Dawn Part 3, Chapter 3 or 4, I think? I'm trying to think. It's either 3 or 4, potentially 5. I think it's 3 or 4. So it's river crossing, I think is what the chapter is called. The Laguz Alliance is crossing the river into Benyon, the Raban River. Ike and the mercenaries, their job is to kind of sneak behind the central army of the Benyon forces and go to where the senators are camping. And they're like fancy camping places, and all their supplies are at, and they're just supposed to burn all the supplies and stuff. And there is a hard turn limit. You have to burn the... and it has an in-game reason for, like, you want to do it before the fog goes away and stuff. It's not arbitrary, really. It's not that arbitrary. Like, it has a reason for being there. I really appreciate this turn limit. Like, you have all these things you need to get done, and there's so much to do in that chapter in a limited turn count, which, honestly, it's not too hard to get everything done. But it still adds a little bit of tension to the gameplay. You have little... you have to visit all the tents to get items. You have to burn all the supplies before the time is up. There are senators who pop out that if you kill them, you lose bonus experience, but you have items on them that you want to steal with Heather. So it builds this whole thing where you want her moving around strategically to get to them and steal like the white gem, and there's other things I think that are important to steal, especially since the Grail mercenaries are pretty low on cash at that point. So there's so much going on in that map, and I honestly am a fan of turn limits, but I agree. I do agree. I think they shouldn't implement them always. I think it should be a case-by-case basis where it makes sense in the story, kind of going back to Samuel Cron's point about story being integrated with the gameplay and making interesting scenarios. So thank you, Technofall42. The rest of your comment was great too. That's just what I wanted to pull from it. All right, moving on to Absol112, who says, finally, The Rock has come back to YouTube. On a serious note, my opinion of what makes good map design is roughly the same as yours, though I'm usually more forgiving. So I don't want people to think that I am this brute. I'm not. I'm pretty nice. I'm pretty forgiving. I think most Fire Emblem maps are fine, but there are some that stand out as really, really good. But then there's also some that stand out as really, really bad. So that's just kind of. I don't know if I came across as like I hate the game. I hate most of the maps in Fire Emblem or whatever, because I don't. I enjoy most of them. So yeah, I just wanted to get that across. And then he says, also personal opinion, Battle Before Dawn is unfairly seen as a bad map. It's not great, but it's not the worst thing ever, as some like to say. There's plenty of maps worse than Battle Before Dawn, although it's like you said, it's not the best map in FE7, that's for sure. But there are plenty of maps that are worse in the series, I would say. Thanks, Absol. Alright, moving on to Ninja Bunny, who says, in my opinion, good map design hinges on something very simplistic. Just one question. Is it fun to strategize around? Now, this question can be answered with a few more questions, like, does the map's gimmick support strategy rather than take from it, or is the map unique enough from other maps similar to it? And then he goes on to rag on the second half of Path of Radiance, which I think gets beat up a little more than it deserves to. I mean, there's some bad ones like Clash and whatever, the one where you take over the Dane capital, that chapter, was it like 21 or like 22 or whatever? Yeah, that map sucks. Not a fan of that one either. But I think the vast majority of them are just like mediocre or okay. Anyways, to Ninja Bunny's main point, sorry to get off topic. Is it fun to strategize around? And I think that's the core to all this discussion is the map fun to you? This is such a subjective topic. I didn't mean to, again, I hope I didn't like force my opinion on you and make you think that I think there's only one way to look at this. I definitely understand and know that everyone has different opinions on things. Like, fun is different for everybody. And what I find fun in a map may be different for what other people find fun in a map. And as Ninja Bunny so thoughtfully points out, if it's fun to you, that's good map design to you. And I know for a fact Ninja Bunny really likes creating interesting strategies and using interesting characters and stuff, after talking to him a little bit. So I think, that's fun for him. And if it's fun to you to have your units moving and one group turtling around and trying to feed experience to like weaker units or something, like, that's cool. That's fun for you, and have fun. That's great. Maybe that's what you like to do. Yeah, so that's just a long-winded way of me saying, yes, Ninja Bunny, I agree with you. Is it fun to strategize around for the person? Then that is good map design for that person. Okay, last one. Sorry, I'm not going to get to everybody today. Actually, never mind. I got two more. So, and I think I will get to everyone today. Yeah, I got a couple more. Okay. Oh, never mind. Not doing Simon. Sorry, Simon Pierre Dupuis. Sorry, I don't speak French. I assume that's what that is. It's a French name. Sounds French. Chewing on pup. I don't trust you anymore. My dog chewed up one of my amiibo. My Marth amiibo. And I'm pretty ticked about it. Like, it fell on the floor, like, for like 2 seconds. And then my dog picked it up, ran away, and bit the head off and the cape off. So I'm pretty sad about that. So I don't like trust him around my desk anymore. I'm always looking. Let's move on to Charlet Owell. Sorry, I don't English well or Spanish well or whatever your name is. Sorry about that, but I appreciate your comments. And this just illustrates my point a little bit. So this comment here, he says that is it engaging is the most important to me. That's why I like most Fire Emblem Echoes map design. I mean the main battles of Echoes that are pretty much all engaging, with every unit being useful. So I think most people would argue that Echoes map design is bad, isn't as fun and engaging to them. But I love this comment from Charlie. That's like from, sorry, is it Charlie? Charlie? There's an accent there. I appreciate that comment because it just illustrates the point that there isn't one right way to look at map design. It's personal for everybody if it's fun for them. So I really appreciate that comment. Thank you. Okay. And finally, it's pretty funny because someone, no, what are you chewing on now? See, he's chewing on something. What are you chewing on? No! Oh, it's your bone. Okay. That's fine. You can chew on your bone. And the last one, which is funny because we just read someone who thinks Echoes has good map design. Some sarcastic mage says, easy answer, not Gaiden. All right, that'll do it for me today. A couple of you posted video suggestions that I will consider, especially the one about reinforcements. I appreciate that one. That might be fun to talk about. And also Flood, who says top 10 maps video, question mark, which I don't know. I've never really considered doing a top 10 video on my channel, but I don't know if you guys are interested in that. I'll give you my top 10 maps. Comment below if you're interested in that. I'll definitely I can throw that together pretty quick. So to wrap this up and put a nice pretty bow on top, I just want to say map design and whether it's good or not is totally subjective. So don't get on someone who says that Gaiden has good map design, or that they think the maps in Genealogy of the Holy War are super engaging, or that the latter half of Path of Radiance is their favorite part of the game, or sorry, I didn't say that. Sorry, Ninja Bunny, I wasn't trying to call you out or anything on that one. I realized once I said it, I was like, oh, it probably sounds like I'm calling them out. Anyways, just realize that you have an opinion, they have an opinion, and because they're different, doesn't mean you need to be a jerk. Because I see that map design is one thing a lot of people disagree on often and can be kind of salty about it. So I just want to kind of clear the air and say, hey, it's okay to have different opinions. All right, that'll do it for me. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, all that stuff I'm supposed to say. And thanks for watching. I'm going to assume that since you made it to the end of this video, you probably kind of enjoy my content. So I'm going to call you out for some help, or I'm going to enlist you for some help. I need you to go find a video of mine that you really enjoy, one of your favorites that I've done, and just share it on social media, tell people about it. I want to grow this community into something where we can have fun discussion and respond to each other's comments and have a good time. I mean, I love the comments I've gotten so far, especially there seems to be a few of you that are really consistent. I loved how quick you guys were to reply to Tuesday's video. But I just want to grow this into a fun community to have. So make sure to share this with people if you don't mind. I'd really appreciate it. And again, if you aren't subscribed and you're watching this, and you made it this far, just subscribe. Just do it. Come on, I'm good for it. I'll treat you right. Just subscribe. All right, thanks guys. Bye.